Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix. This is going to be your daily tarot and astrology reading for Monday, August 26th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful start to your week. Let's go ahead and hop into today's video, see what the cards have to say, see what's going on in the sky, so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. I have the Four of Bones, or the Four of Wands, in reverse. This can speak to a decommitment of some sort. Maybe backing off from something that we might have previously committed to, or at the very least, just rethinking our commitments. This probably has a lot to do with Mercury retrograde in Leo, admittedly. But it's Four of Wands, like I said, it can be this moment where we're kind of rethinking, re-questioning, we have to also, we don't want to be too impulsive before we just jump into things and commit to things. Maybe that's probably more so what it is. It's like before we jump into something, before we commit to something, to kind of think it through, see if it makes sense, right? Now we have that followed by the Page of Cups in upright. So this is definitely going to come down to if you are in touch with your emotions, and if you know how to process your emotions in a very healthy way, then you should have no problem with this energy. Unfortunately, though, if you aren't really great at processing your emotions, if you let them to get the better of you, or you're easily emotionally manipulated, then you may find yourself jumping into situations and different circumstances that, may not necessarily turn out in your favor, right? So I think this is one of those days where we have to just think things through, kind of feel things through. This is about being intuitive and being more in touch with that aspect of things before we really jump right into things, right? Now, astrologically, there's not like a ton of stuff going on. Now, of course, we do have the third quarter square because this moon will be in Gemini. But that third quarter square happens really early in the day. We're talking, at least here on the East Coast of the United States, we're talking, 5:20-ish to 5:30-ish is when this is happening. Now, if you're in Europe, of course, this is happening in your, I guess, late morning, right? Because you guys are about 5 hours ahead of us. So this is like your late morning going to noon. If this was like in Asia, this is like your afternoon going into your evening. But we will see this third quarter square. Now, this moon in Gemini, whenever the moon is in Gemini, first of all, our emotions are a lot more tethered to our thoughts. Our thoughts can trigger our emotions a lot more. Especially considering the fact that Jupiter and Mars are here too. It can definitely inflate things. It can definitely inflate emotions, especially based off of things that come up, a communication and the sorts. Especially with the moon coming off of this Uranus, just be careful of who you engage with, especially on the internet. Because things can get blown up really fast. Now, this square over to the Sun in Virgo. Sun in Virgo, very much concerned about the finer details in life, the day-to-day reality, the service that we provide to other people, and those sort of things. So this is going to provide a bit of a challenge, especially if we may get caught up on a certain ideology with the Jupiter here that's influencing this moon, or wanting to take some sort of action with the Mars on this moon as well. Of course, the moon will cross over these planets over the next day and a half or so, but they are influencing this energy. Not only that, but all of these energies are dispositing this Mercury retrograde in Leo, which is, like I said, we're kind of at a moment where we're rethinking our commitments, or just kind of things like, okay, do I really want to do that? Why do I want to do that? The Sun right here is trying to work out all of these finer details, whereas this moon in Gemini wants to kind of act a little bit quicker, especially with Jupiter here, especially with Mars here, especially with the dispositing of Mercury it's in retrograde in Leo, but there's this kind of like this slowdown. We're having to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit. And I'm not saying that we have to wipe everything clean, the things that we may be reconsidering, but we have to just, do the Sun in Virgo thing. Write it out, kind of weigh the pros and cons a little bit, although that may sound like Libra, but it's like kind of like write things out, take your notes on things, weigh things out, see what the pros and cons are, or, kind of order things in order of importance, you know what I'm saying? Have a list, These are the sort of things that are going to help you to get through this kind of energy, right? Like I said, this third quarter square is like early in the day. So pretty much, at least here in America or Canada or something like that, or the Western Hemisphere, essentially, is that we're gonna be kind of coming off of the waning part of this, essentially. So as you can see, as the moon kind of moves throughout the day, it doesn't really make a ton of other aspects. It will make a sextile over to the north node while trying the south node. So that can allow for some opportunities for us to tap a little bit more into, who we are as a person, the content of our character, and with the trine over to the south node, excuse me, a little scratchiness in the back of my throat. That's still about weighing things out, even though it's the south node there, so that can be definitely weighing things out, maybe dealing with relationships and stuff like that, especially, or things that come up from the past. But today is sort of one of those days where we kind of are weighing things out. Remember, Gemini is very dualistic as well. So it's like looking at both sides of the equation, weighing things out emotionally, seeing what feels the best, and the sort. But we'll see that come off of that aspect, and then the moon doesn't really do anything else besides conjuncting the fixed star Aldebaran, and that's pretty much it astrologically. So Monday is going to seem like a bit of a chill day, but probably not really, because by the end of the day, that moon is going to get closer to that Jupiter and to that Mars, which is going to kind of rev up the emotional aspect, or at least the way that we are reacting and responding, because generally the moon is how we react and to respond to things. So that's the thing about this, is like we may be reacting and responding more to the reality of things with Virgo, but a lot of people are probably going to get still sucked into Pisces world with this Saturn retrograde and this Neptune retrograde. That's sort of the thing about this. So, and of course, we will see that moon square these energies coming into Tuesday as well as Wednesday. So I think, like I said, this is one of those days where it does kind of give us a nice little opportunity. I feel like God's kind of giving us a little bit of a break here to kind of like review our answers, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's like reviewing your answers before you actually walk up and they turn the test in, because it could be a thing where it's like, damn, I finished the test really, really fast. It's like, well, shoot, this is one of those things where like sometimes, do you second guess yourself, or do you just have the confidence to just turn the paper in and just hope that you actually did well? You have to kind of make that determining factor, and it's going to come down to this Page of Cups, your intuition. Do you trust that you got, the best answers, you did your best on that first go around, or are you going to review? Based off of the energy and the astrology, I would say you probably should do a bit of a review. And like I said, we do have the 4 bones here, so that's about decommitting and stuff like that in a sense. So don't necessarily just fully bank on the first attempt. Give it a second attempt, give it a third attempt, go over your answers. There's no shame in that. I know it's like you want to just be done with the test and everything like that and just be finished with it, but this is going to be a long test. It's not something that you're going to finish overnight, if you will. Hopefully you guys can understand the metaphor that I'm painting here. Final card of the day. I have the 2 of... keep getting this card. I got the 2 of bows once again, or the 2 of swords. So that does bring up a bit of a stuck or stalemate kind of energy. So I think we're pretty much going to be forced, essentially, to review our answers and to be like, all right, are you going to just go along with this? There's some decision making that comes into a day like this, and with the moon in Gemini, it's going to want things to happen quickly. That's the thing about it. But the sun is in Virgo, so it's got to make sense. It's got to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's got to have its sense of order. It's got to be everything. It's got to have its place. So that's the thing about this. So it's like, well, are you going to be indecisive? Are you going to make a decision? Are you going to kind of go over things though? How are you going to balance just being impulsive and taking the action, or in waiting too long to do something? Because you don't want to wait too long either. So that's the thing about it. It's a bit of a juggling act today, energetically. Well, we got the card of give it to God. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it comes down to trusting your intuition, What does your gut say? And that's really what it comes down to. So I would say with the day like today, try not to lament over decisions for too long. To still run them through the necessary channels, but don't lament over things for too long. But also don't just rush right through it either, because if you rush right through it, you may just regret your decision. That's going to do it for your daily tarot and astrology reading. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you found this at all helpful, I definitely would appreciate it if you like this video, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you all on the next daily tarot and astrology reading. Peace.